Night has fallen in Ghana's capital city, Accra, and Delali Avemega has made it home for his kids' bedtime story.
Growing up, it was uncommon to have parents read storybooks to their kids before bedtime. We sort of borrowed the bedtime reading from the West. It was normally kids being gathered around, and having some elderly folk, telling them some stories, mostly scary stories that would get us to bed early. Illiteracy is a huge problem here in our country and in this parts of the world, Africa. And for me, I feel if reading is encouraged in schools, in homes, and in communities, it could probably lower it by 20%. And this probably would be one of the greatest achievements we could ever, chalk. And what I do, and also I intend to do, is as much as possible to be part of that outreach, join others who are, spearheading this whole initiative to get kids to read. I mean, one of my mantras is to make Africa read again.
Avemega became a children's author after the birth of his first child, Maka, 8 years ago.
Maka inspired me. After I had Maka, when it got to the point where I felt it was okay for her to start reading, I went into shops and then I noticed most of the books weren't culturally relevant to our setting. So I wanted books that she could easily relate to. I mean, have characters in there that looked like people she saw on a daily basis, and also communities and objects and things that basically she should be used to. So that sort of inspired me. Being an illustrator and a bit of a writer, I just told myself one day, why don't I write a story, at least one story for her?
Avemega's first book, The Girl in the New Dress, features a central character called Lulu.
I was looking at a bigger picture, not just writing for Ghanaian kids, but kids across the sub-region and other parts of Africa. And I noticed that Lulu was a name that was common here, as well as common in certain parts of East Africa. And so were they able to have some representation of themselves or even things within the environment in the story, then it makes it much more easier for them to be engrossed into it. Which one?
After completing the story, Avemega struggled to get it published.
Ooh, it's super difficult. I mean, you don't have too many publishing houses here. The very few ones are more focused on publishing school materials, and most of them normally have their books, and they have maybe writers that are they work with, and the response I got wasn't too encouraging. But I still had to push, because for me, I felt, look, this is something that I need to do. I need this in my home for my kids.
Avemega started self-publishing his stories online, and as demand grew, he established his own independent publishing company, Fish and Plankton, in 2014.